Chapter 1: The Smallest, Strongest Ant. In the middle of a green garden, behind a big rock and under a rose bush, lived a small ant named Anton. Anton looked like any other ant. He was tiny, he was fast, he had 6 legs and shiny black eyes. But Anton had a secret. He was the strongest ant in the whole world. He could lift things no other ant could, not just leaves or crumbs or twigs. Anton could lift a whole brick, a bike wheel, even a sack of potatoes, all by himself. He didn't know how it happened. One day he just picked up a rock, and it wasn't heavy. "I must have ant magic," he joked. But he didn't tell anyone. Not yet. The other ants in his colony were busy workers. They carried seeds, they cleaned tunnels, they marched in straight lines and never stopped to dream. Anton dreamed all the time. "I want to help others," he said to himself, "not just carry food. I want to do something big." One sunny day, Anton was walking near the edge of the garden. He saw a group of ants trying to move a giant blueberry. They pushed, they pulled, they slipped and slid. Anton watched. He wanted to help, but he was nervous. "What if they think I'm strange?" he whispered. But then he saw one ant fall over, tired. Another sat down, rubbing its legs. Anton couldn't wait any longer. He ran over. "Need help?" he asked. The ants looked at him. "You? This is a big blueberry." Anton smiled. "I'm small, but I'm strong." He walked up to the blueberry. He bent his legs. He grabbed it tight. And then he lifted it, high above his head. The ants' jaws dropped. "How did you do that?" one gasped. "That's impossible," said another. Anton blushed. "I guess I'm different." The ants stared. And then they cheered. "Anton! Anton! You're amazing! You're a super ant!" Anton's antennae twitched with pride. That night, the queen ant herself called for him. "You did something special today," she said kindly. Anton stood tall. "I just wanted to help." The queen nodded. "Then maybe you were made for something more." Anton blinked. "Like what?" The queen smiled. "We'll find out. Tomorrow, we have a problem with the river leaf bridge." Anton grinned. He had a feeling this was just the beginning. Anton the ant with the dough, the leaf bridge rescue. The next morning, the sun rose over the garden, warming the grass and the tiny world below. Anton woke early. He was too excited to sleep. "Today's the day," he said aloud, hopping out of his little tunnel. He had been asked to join the bridge team, a group of ants who built and watched over the leaf bridge. The bridge helped ants cross a stream to reach new food. The stream wasn't wide, but for an ant, it felt like a river. Anton marched proudly behind the other ants as they walked toward the bridge. When they arrived, he gasped. The bridge was made of long, flat leaves tied with spider silk. It wobbled in the wind and floated just above the rushing water. "It's beautiful," Anton said. "Careful," warned the bridge leader, a tall ant named Grin. "This leaf bridge is old. The silk is loose in the middle. We're checking it now." Anton stepped closer. A group of worker ants had already started crossing, one by one, in a line, carrying seeds. Anton watched the middle of the bridge sway. Then, snap! A piece of silk broke. The middle leaf started to sink. The worker ants screamed. One slipped, another dropped its seed. "Hold on!" Grin shouted. Anton didn't think. He ran. He dashed across the first leaf, then the second. Water splashed below. The current roared. "Anton, stop!" someone yelled. "It's not safe!" But Anton kept going. The center of the bridge drooped lower. The ants were clinging to the edges. Anton reached them. He grabbed the sinking leaf with all 6 legs. He planted his feet and lifted. The leaf shook. It rose. The ants blinked. One by one, they crawled back onto the stable part of the bridge. Anton held the leaf high until the last one was safe. Then he climbed up himself, shaking but smiling. The ants were silent. Then, cheering. "You did it! You saved us! You held up the bridge!" Anton blushed. His legs ached, but he smiled. Back at the colony, the queen called for him again. "This makes twice, Anton," she said warmly. "You are not just strong, you are brave." Anton stood straighter. "Thank you, Your Highness." She nodded. "But now we have a question. How far does your strength go?" Anton's eyes sparkled. "Let's find out." Chapter 3: The Rock That Wouldn't Move. A few days later, a runner ant arrived at the colony, out of breath. "It's the flower field," he cried. One of the big rocks fell during the rain. It landed on the bloom patch. Gasps echoed through the tunnels. The bloom patch was a special place, full of tiny pink flowers the ants used for healing nectar and sweet treats. "If we can't move the rock," said the queen, "we'll lose the patch." All the ants looked at one another. Then someone said, "What about Anton?" Anton stepped forward. "I'll try," he said without hesitation. They marched to the flower field. The ground was still wet from the storm, and there it was, a giant gray rock right in the middle of the patch. It was smooth, round, and heavy. Anton walked around it slowly. "How heavy do you think it is?" asked a small ant. "Too heavy," whispered another. Anton cracked his legs, stretched his antennae, and stood under the edge of the rock. He pushed. Nothing. He braced all 6 legs. He lifted. The rock shook, but didn't move. Ants whispered. Anton tried again and again. Sweat dripped from his head. His back trembled. He gritted his teeth and gave one more try. Still nothing. He stepped back, panting. The ants looked at him. "It's okay," said the queen gently. "You did your best." Anton stared at the rock. "No," he said quietly. "I didn't do my smartest." He turned to the other ants. "I can lift things," he said, "but I can't do this alone." He looked around. "Can we build something? Levers? Rollers? Pull from both sides?" The ants blinked. "Like teamwork?" asked one. "Yes." Anton smiled. "Let's think like builders, not just lifters." Soon ants brought twigs. Others brought vines. They built a lever under one side of the rock. Anton pushed, others pulled. More ants shoved small stones under the lifted edge. Bit by bit, the rock began to roll. Together, they moved it just enough to uncover the blooms. The ants cheered. "We did it! The patch is safe. Our flowers are saved." Anton sat down in the soft grass, smiling wide. The queen stepped forward. "Today, you showed us a new kind of strength," she said. "Not the kind in your legs, but in your ideas and your heart." Anton beamed. From behind, a young ant whispered, "I want to be like him." Anton heard and blushed. But deep inside, he felt something grow. Bigger than muscles, brighter than pride. And the ant with super strength. Chapter Tutor. The Day the Wind Took the Sky Leaf. It was a windy morning in the garden. The grass swayed. Petals spun through the air. And high above the colony, ants were preparing something special. They called it the sky leaf. It was a big, flat leaf dried in the sun and tied with silk. The ants had built a little seat on it, a tiny platform for carrying messages far across the meadow. It was the colony's new invention, a flying delivery leaf. Anton was invited to help test it. "You'll hold the anchor vine," said the inventor ant, who wore glasses made from snail shell. "When we say go, you'll let it rise just a little. Not too far." Anton nodded, excited. He stood near the edge of a tall hill where the wind blew strongest. The skyleaf sat at the top, tied to a vine. Everything was ready. The inventor ant climbed onto the platform with a message scroll. She held onto the vine. "Ready," she called. "Lift it, Anton," shouted the helper ants. Anton braced himself and pulled the vine gently. The skyleaf floated up, just a little. It hovered in the air, wobbling softly. "Perfect!" The inventor cheered. But then, whoosh! A sudden gust of wind blew hard. The skyleaf shot into the air higher than expected. The inventor ant screamed, "Hold the vine! Don't let go!" Anton gripped tight. The vine snapped like a whip in the wind. The other ants gasped. The wind is too strong, but Anton didn't let go. He dug his legs into the ground. The skyleaf flew higher, pulling, tugging, flapping. "Let it go, Anton," someone shouted, but he didn't. He remembered the bridge, the blueberry, the rock. He remembered what it felt like to give up and what it meant to hold on. "I can do this," he growled, and slowly, inch by inch, he pulled the skyleaf back down. The wind fought him. His legs burned. But the moment the skyleaf got close enough, 2 helper ants jumped up and grabbed the edge. They pulled the inventor safely to the ground. Then the wind passed. Anton dropped to his knees, breathing hard. Everyone stared, and then cheering. Anton did it. He brought it down. He's not just strong, he's a hero. The inventor ant dusted herself off and bowed. "Thank you," she said. "You held on when no one else could." Anton smiled. "I almost let go," he said, "but I remembered why I hold on." She tilted her head. "Why?" "Because even strong ants get scared, but they hold on anyway." Anton the Ant with Super Strength. Chapter 5, The Day Anton Carried the Colony. It started with rain, not just a drizzle, but a storm, the kind that turns tunnels into rivers. that makes leaves crash like thunder, the ant colony was in danger. Water rushed into their home under the garden path. Tunnels filled with mud. Chambers collapsed. "Evacuate," shouted the guards. "Save the queen," called the scouts. "Carry the eggs," yelled the nurse ants. Anton rushed to help. He lifted stones. He pulled logs. He guided younger ants to dry roots. But the water kept rising. The queen stood on a trembling root near the top tunnel. "We must move," she said. "Now, before we lose everything." "But where?" asked the captain. The queen pointed across the garden. "Near the old tree. The ground is high. We'll build new tunnels there." Ants whispered nervously. "It's too far. We'll never carry everything in time. The eggs, the supplies." Anton stepped forward. "I'll carry them," he said, "as much as I can, as far as I need to." The queen looked at him. "Alone?" Anton took a breath. "Not alone, but I'll lead." And he did. He strapped a basket of eggs to his back. He carried the queen in a dry leaf boat. He lifted 5 seed bundles at once, through rain, through mud, through falling petals and rolling pebbles. Other ants followed, inspired, encouraged, brave. They marched behind Anton, forming a long line of teamwork and trust. At the old tree, Anton cleared the entrance. He dug the first new tunnel. He placed the eggs inside. He helped the queen down. One by one, the colony arrived. Safe, together, whole. That night, when the rain stopped, the ants sat in their new home, dry, tired, grateful. The queen placed a small crown of grass on Anton's head. "You didn't just carry things," she said. "You carried us, all of us." Anton blushed. "I only did what I could." She smiled, "And what you could was extraordinary." From that day on, young ants told stories of the smallest, strongest ant, not just because he could lift a rock, but because he never gave up, and because he always helped others rise.